Hey!
This is JJ and Alex.
I made a name for myself, I told you I won't be denied.
As you wrap up your day, it's time to get your fix of the teams you live for and the sports you love. This is JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome in. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Alex Kirry, Jeremiah Jensen. Oh, JJ, what are we going to do without old Mike Gundy? We're going to do without old Mike Gundy at media days not giving us an interview. What are we going to do without him?
The same thing we do every day.
What are we going to do without him? You know, without him actually being involved in anything at the Big 12 level. I'm a man, I'm 40, by the way, was 18 years old yesterday while he was at his press conference saying, college football's not like it used to be. Ask my wife. I'm right on everything, but I just can't tell her that. Anyway, 24 hours later, he's fired. So there you go.
He kind of became a clown.
Yeah, he did. He did. We'll get into it a little bit later, but they're just showing they're playing all the hits from his press conferences. And just showing all the different kind of hair he's had through the years. I think he knew yesterday, right? Did he know yesterday? If you know, do you do that press
weird.
conference?
Why didn't you do it Sunday? Why'd you wait till Tuesday? He did his weekly press conference.
That makes me wonder. I mean, when he went off again for the millionth time about how college football used to be decent, used to be better than this. This is paid ball. And of course, ironically, he's getting paid $15 million to walk away from paid ball.
Right.
Right?
He'd been paid tons of money for years.
Yeah, oh yeah. Had to take a pay cut this year because he was such crap last year and the year before, to be honest. So, yeah. I'm not going to go as far as say good riddance. I just think he was I think that the league is probably better without Mike Gundy because he just was stuck in the past, man.
It was time.
Ask Dabo Swinney. Dabo Swinney feels a little bit like this, doesn't he?
Yeah, his day's coming soon.
He's
too.
less mean. He's less mean about it, but Dabo Swinney feels like his press conferences are all like last minute, like, sorry about all that, guys. I just love it here. Fine, if you don't want me here to coach here, I won't coach here. You careful what you wish for. And I will say there's a bit of that. But, man, you got to change. You got to change with the times.
Yeah, you got to change. I mean, we're moving into an era where there's guys like Dan Lanning and Ryan Day are the kings of college football coaching, not the old guard. The old guard is on its way out. If you're the Big 12 and teams in the Big 12, you don't like this. You want to know why? Oklahoma State, it's not going to happen overnight, but that program is going to go out and get better.
Yeah, it'll happen in like 3 years because of what he put him behind the eight ball on. I mean, he honestly,
100%.
He put him behind.
But that's a sleeping giant.
Yeah, I think it could be really good. It could be the Texas Tech. It should be doing exactly what Texas Tech is doing, and it has the resources to do it. And they just
tons of money there.
Didn't have the backing from the head coach, and you need it. All right, we got a show to get to here. G2G Bars brings you the program. Let's get to the cut right here, top of the hour. Let's jump in right here and get right to it.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Trajan Wealth brings you this portion of the show. Trajan Wealth is TRAJAN Wealth for all your trusted local needs in retirement. TrajanWealth.com. All right, let's get to some of these these projected playoff rankings now that we've got them. I don't know. It's just one of these things. When I see any of these projections, we're getting a little better look as to what things should look like. But all the pundits are guessing, all the AP voters are guessing. That doesn't stop us from making our assumptions as to how this thing's going to go. CBS Sports has their projected college football playoff. Yesterday we talked to Bill Bennett from the Sporting News. They have an interesting one as well. You can kind of put that up against it. But here's what they have as the college football playoff ranking predictor, as they try to look at what this is going to look like. I want to know what your thoughts are here, JJ, because they have a top 25, what those top 25 rankings are going to be. But you also have to guess what that top 12 is. And where the top 12 is, is going to be how it shakes out. And then you have to have a group of 5 champion in there, or you have to have a group of 5 highest ranking. You're going to have a champion from the Big 12. So here's what the CBS Sports experts know, okay? Keep, as I like to do, keep a record here of what teams are from what conferences.
Right.
Conference counts, okay?
Okay.
Miami, 1. They have Miami projected as the number 1 overall seed because they feel like they're going to go 13-0 and be the ACC champion. Hey, going 13-0 in the ACC isn't what it used to be. Ask Florida State. I do think we are in a different era, though. And Miami's front end of their schedule has been, I'm not even going to say so difficult as much as it is visible enough. And program recognizability of who you're beating is right there, too.
High-quality wins and a blowout win over the potential group of 5 auto bid.
Yeah, yeah.
In South Florida.
You've got Miami at 1, Ohio State 2. They have them as the projected Big Ten champ at 12-1. So a loss somewhere in there. That's not totally outside of the realm. Georgia 3, your SEC champion, also listed at 12-1. That's a scary thought, by the way. And then they have number 4 Oregon with the projected record of 12-1. If this is how it plays out, that means Oregon would do the thing where they were number 1 again this year. They would play Ohio State for the Big Ten championship, and they would lose in that Big Ten championship game. And that's about right. Be number 4 on the list after your only loss of the year is to the team who is now the number 1 overall or the number 2 overall team in the country. I don't hate those picks. That's exactly how it could play out. Who replaces either Ohio State or Oregon in the Big Ten? If it comes to that, if it comes to those teams on that list.
Penn State's the obvious one, and now suddenly Indiana's thrust into that mix.
Heisman Mendoza.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see what he could do.
Why not?
What about Miami? Is Florida State or Georgia Tech going to give a run at all to the Miami Hurricanes in this? I don't know what the Miami Hurricanes' schedule is when it comes to this, but they're going to have to play somebody in the ACC championship game.
So you're asking, can somebody in the ACC take down Miami? Well, we'll find out in 2 weeks. Because Miami's next game is at Florida State.
Yes. If they take down Miami, if somebody does take down Miami, what's that do to the conference? Because you need a 1 or no loss team in the ACC championship game. If you're going to have and then their best option would be to have them lose that game, and then go to 12-1 or 13-1 or 12-1 or whatever it is. And then you have that team who technically wins the ACC get to the playoff, to the college football playoff.
So it's interesting. So the top 3 teams in the ACC right now, Miami, Florida State, and Georgia Tech. Miami and Florida State play each other, but Miami doesn't play Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech doesn't play Florida State.
Yeah, see? It kind of works out. This is why the 9-game conference schedule is going to make a difference, right?
100%.
So that's where these games – but this is why conferences don't want to do it, because what we're saying is you're adding a loss to everyone, to at least 2 of those 3 teams, right?
Yeah. Here's a scenario where Miami beats Florida State, and Florida State's only loss this year is to Miami. And then Georgia Tech runs the table as well as Miami, and you have an undefeated Georgia Tech, and maybe Georgia Tech loses to Georgia, right? They're not undefeated, but in conference they're undefeated. And Miami and Georgia Tech are playing in the ACC championship game with a 1-loss Florida State team on the outside, and all 3 of them get into the playoff because all 3 of them, one is undefeated and the others only have 1 loss with 11-win seasons.
Clear as mud?
Could happen.
Yeah. We're talking about the second team to get in for the ACC. And by the way, on this list, what they have up is so. By the way, projected Big 12 champion 12-1 Texas Tech is their number 5 team on this.
Can't deny that at this point. That team is a juggernaut.
Now, they have them at 1 loss, 12-1, but they have them winning the Big 12 championship game. I don't know where that loss comes, but, yeah, I mean, you could see it. These teams, especially teams like Texas Tech, who definitely are not used to being here, so to speak, right? Going through the whole year and trying to be undefeated is just so hard. It is just so hard. It doesn't matter who you are. Ask your juggernaut Alabama teams how difficult that win against, Auburn in the last game of the year, even when Auburn was like a 4-loss team or a 5-loss team, it was hard to do because everybody's giving you their best shot.
Arizona State has athletes, and Arizona State has a quarterback that can throw the ball deep.
And they also have the experience from last year that they went through, which kind of gives them a little bit of an edge.
That could be that game you circle and say that could be the one that gets Texas Tech.
Yeah. By the way, Arizona State hosting, I want to say TCU this weekend?
Yes.
Underrated game. That's a very good game.
Yes.
And that's on a Friday, I think, too. I think it's a Friday night game. Florida State is the projected number 6. So what do we have in the ACC? The number 1 team and the number 6 team, right? So they have them losing the conference championship game to Miami. They have them at 11-1. Texas A&M 7 at 2 losses. Alabama at 8 with 2 losses. LSU at 9 with, you guessed it, 2 losses. Penn State at 10 with 2 losses. 11 Georgia Tech with 2 losses. And then South Florida, your group of 5 champion at 12-1. Group of 6 champ. Sorry, group of 6. I don't want to deny the Pac-12 their due. So, correct me if I'm wrong, there are 3 ACC teams in there.
In this list, the scenario I explained to you could potentially play out because of the schedule.
Because they don't have to play each other.
Georgia Tech does not have to play Miami or Florida State, which is wild.
So they're already nipping that thing in the bud. They're like, you can't have nice things if you don't go to a 9-game schedule. But before that happens, a Georgia Tech team who you would have never expected to be in this conversation because you expect Clemson to maybe be in that conversation is now in the conversation. So there you have it. Those are the first 12. Now, the rest of the first college football playoff rankings. So what do we have from the other conferences?
So 3 Big Ten teams, which is kind of a surprise, right?
Same as the ACC.
For some reason, they don't put Indiana on here at this point, which I think is a mistake. But they choose Georgia Tech instead. So 3 from the ACC, 3 from the Big Ten, and then the SEC has Georgia, Texas A&M, Alabama, LSU.
Yeah, right. So they have 4.
4. And then you have the group of 5, which would be South Florida.
One Big 12 team.
12 team. Can you imagine a scenario where the ACC has 3 teams in the college football playoff? The Big 12 has 1.
Well, and the SEC has, the Big 10 has 3, and the ACC has 3, and the Big 12 has 1.
That would be a nightmare for the Big 12.
The scenario you're building out, though, is the exact reason why they're telling these conference commissioners, get in line, get 9 games on here.
This 8-game conference schedule is not okay.
They don't want Georgia Tech in this thing. Now, they might want to put, a 4th Big Ten team in, which is where the Indiana conference, because someone's going to get their feelings hurt at the end of all this, right?
Oh, yeah.
Between Georgia Tech and maybe a 1-loss Indiana team who doesn't get to the whatever the Big Ten team is that doesn't get to the Big 12 or to the Big Ten championship, and in this case, we have it as Penn State on here. But if you have 2 teams that are 11-1, that's what happened last year. Indiana lost the tiebreak, right? So they didn't go to the Big Ten championship game. That actually worked out great for them.
It was a blessing for them.
You're
Got
right.
them in the playoff.
So they have 1 loss, and then people are going, dude, this is a number 8 team in the country, and their only loss is to Ohio State.
Right.
Isn't that what it was? Yeah. They got the break speed off of them by Ohio State.
Yep.
So then they go, oh, shoot, we'll miss you in the Big Ten championship game. I'm sure the coaches love being like, I want to get there one day. But the players are like, yeah, but we get to play in the college football playoff.
Which game's more important?
Right.
Big Ten championship or playoff quarterfinal?
What ended up happening? Indiana was not equal to the task. SMU was not equal to the task.
No.
Boise State, as the number 4 team, was not up to the task.
Only Arizona State was.
You have to figure out, if you're going to do the guessing, don't just guess, get the best matchups. So if the conversation is being had in Grapevine, Texas at the Gaylord Hotel about what team should be where, I hope that they don't just have a conversation about, yeah, but this is more wins and losses over here. This is the auto bid from this league over here. If it's a conversation between 11-1 Georgia Tech and 10-2 Indiana, I hope that they have the conversation and they say, what will give us the best game? What's a good matchup?
Well,
who's going to be a good matchup? Who's going to be a tough out?
Didn't play Miami and didn't play Florida State. Who did they play?
Then you have to ask that question. Okay, so they have the rest of the rankings through the college football. Again, these are all guesses.
Because, by the way, Georgia Tech's signature win is against Clemson.
Right, that will end up. Yeah, now no one feels good about that.
That doesn't go down easy now, does it?
Syracuse is like, ours too. Right. And then who else beat them? Oh, and then LSU, when they both got Fs on the first exam of the season, right?
Yes.
All right, so the rankings go, the projected first college football playoff rankings.
By the way, LSU's wins are Florida and Clemson.
So the ones that are right on the edge, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
The John Mateer news, by the way, probably puts them even further back.
Broken hand out for who knows?
Yeah.
2, 3, 4 games.
Tennessee, 14. Okay, another SEC team right on the edge. They've got TCU at 15. So the next closest ranked team in the Big 10, or sorry, in the Big 12, excuse me, is what I'm assuming is a second-place TCU team. Who second place is good enough for 15th on the list? What are they saying? They're a 3-loss TCU team? That they got there with 2 losses and they lose in the championship game and they end up being a 3-loss team?
Who do we believe was the second best team in the Big 12 last year? I have my opinion.
At the end, we felt like BYU got
So it was 100%
slighted.
BYU was the second best team in the Big 12
and Iowa
last
State
year.
was trending the other direction. They didn't play well.
Oh, no
and they
question.
got their butts beat. Ask Arizona State, when we were at Big 12 Media Day, they said it. They go, we actually kind of wish we would have been playing BYU in that Big 12 championship game rather than Iowa State. And could you imagine how that would have been?
Oh, the rematch? Are you kidding me?
Like 2 weeks after the other one?
But isn't this...
Or a week? It would have been amazing.
This looks just like last year.
No, it's so depressing. It's so depressing. And yet, I don't know if it's totally wrong. I don't think that it's necessarily totally wrong. TCU, why wouldn't they lose 2 games and then have to get into the Big 12 championship game on a tie break? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if Texas Tech has 1 loss, the only way this works out, you better be praying that Texas Tech wins out, right? And that they get to the conference championship game with a 12-0 next to their name.
Yeah.
Because the next team that gets in, if they get in there and they've only got 1 loss and they take a second loss, but their loss is to that, or they win that game against a now 12-1 Texas Tech team, that's how you get in.
Exactly.
Do you see the finagling you have to do to get 2 teams in the Big 12 into the college football playoff?
It would be beneficial to the Big 12.
It's hard, man.
For Texas Tech to finish with a perfect regular season but lose the Big 12 championship game because that would guarantee 2 teams in.
Okay, now, do these sound fun? USF at number 5 Texas Tech in Lubbock on December 20th.
Kind of, but
Yuck.
I think Texas Tech would handle them pretty easily.
Yuck. LSU going to Alabama? Yes, please.
Did we see that in the regular season?
I don't know if we do or not. That would be great because if they don't face each other in the regular season, or if the game, imagine if this is the second game at Tuscaloosa this year, that would be a hard pill to swallow.
Here's why I don't like having 4 teams from conferences in the playoff is it just feels like another conference game.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't like that.
Georgia Tech, well, if you don't like that, then you're going to hate this one. Georgia Tech, number 11, Georgia Tech going to Florida State in the first round.
By the way, LSU and Alabama play each other.
Where at?
In Tuscaloosa.
Oh, so this would be a rematch in Tuscaloosa too.
It's week number 8.
That's yucky.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be good. Georgia Tech and Florida State facing off against one another. Now, you were telling me they don't play each other in the regular season,
correct?
Right? So at least we'd be able to see something different there.
Yeah.
And then Penn State would go to Kyle Field down at College Station to take on Texas A&M. Now
that's one of those fun college football playoff matchups, right?
That's cool.
In the playoffs, you want to see things you don't normally see.
Right. LSU
you
and
want
Alabama
to see blue blood versus blue blood that
Yep.
is from a different conference. You don't want to see conference teams playing each other in the playoff.
You want to see Texas Tech go to Alabama. You want to see
Exactly.
You want to see LSU go down and have to play Florida State down in Tallahassee.
Exactly. I love that.
And so that's why and then even Georgia Tech playing Alabama at Alabama sounds better.
Sure.
So this is why it's hard. This is why it's hard. And until the Big 12 gets teams higher ranked than 12th, definitely is where Texas Tech should be right now. And they could end up being a lot higher, right, by the end of it. I don't know what Iowa State really is. Arizona comes to Ames this weekend, by the way. We'll see how the Wildcats do there. We'll see if they're real or not. And then you've got TCU and BYU who are like barely on the edge of the top 25. Like they sneeze and they'll be out of this thing. BYU was on the edge like for 3 weeks in a row and they never got in. They finally get in. TCU, people are ready to dismiss them before they are given credit, right? Mm-hmm. It just seems like a weird thing that we have to go through to watch this thing. By the way, they have Texas ranked 18th in this final poll here. That would be a 3-loss Texas team, and that's probably about right. I don't know what they're going to look like. Although now, who knows? With the new and improved Arch Manning, now 30%.
Well, if John Mateer doesn't play against Texas.
Now 30% tougher.
Yeah.
Arch Manning. I just don't know. I just don't know how I feel about all this. So, in the end, what are you getting? And this isn't the only projections that's like this. We told you the Sporting News yesterday. They have Texas Tech winning the Big 12. They have them as the number 11 team in the college football playoff. So, like, they don't just – they have them in as the champion of the Big 12 and a 2-loss champion.
Who are they losing to?
I don't know.
Look at the schedule. The bad news for Texas Tech is there's not a ranked team left on their schedule as of right now, I believe. And that's going to make it hard for them to move up, but it also makes it easier for them to stay undefeated, which, again, is the best-case scenario for the Big 12 because you want Texas Tech or whoever it is to run the table and be undefeated to try to get more than one team in. If you have a scenario like last year where you have a four-way tie for first with teams at 7-2, that's no bueno for the league. So TCU's not on this list. So they play at Houston, Kansas at home, at Arizona State, Oklahoma State at home, at Kansas State, BYU at home, UCF at home, and West Virginia. Texas Tech's schedule is not really difficult. I think that Arizona State is capable of beating them in Tempe. BYU at that point, why not? So, but you've got UCF, West Virginia on the schedule. Oklahoma State is going to be so bad. Kansas State's been disappointing, and I'm not sold on Houston yet. So Texas Tech's schedule, that's why it was so important for Texas Tech to beat Utah. And why it was so important for Utah to beat Texas Tech in turn, because Texas Tech does not have the ability to get and stack ranked wins against these opponents outside of BYU and maybe Arizona State.
Interesting. I was looking at one of the projections, too, of some of these college football playoffs. This one was from one of the guys who works for Fox, I think, and he brought up, so they have Texas Tech as the 7 seed in this thing. They have Indiana getting in as another Big Ten team. And they'd have to play at Autzen. They'd have to play Oregon at Autzen. Okay?
I'm intrigued, though.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Yeah. But again, that's a Big Ten matchup.
It's so hard to wrap your mind around Indiana being a football juggernaut.
Yeah.
But once you see what they're doing, you appreciate it and realize it's a good football team. That's really entertaining.
They also have LSU as the SEC champion, which I am not buying at all.
They don't have the offense
at all.
That's not gonna. They don't have the offense to do that. They can't. They're not going to beat Georgia. They're not better than who else? They're not better than Georgia. That's for sure. And I'm not so sure they beat Alabama. I don't think they have the offense.
Yeah, probably not. No, I don't think so either.
I would take Texas over LSU right now.
Are there other bowl projections? I was looking at just the regular old.
Do we need our daily Pop-Tarts Bowl update?
Because I think BYU fans need to know if they're going to be in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. That's the thing is, I mean, do you think that don't at me on this whole thing about like no one's mentioning BYU, they're undefeated. They haven't played anybody. And ask Utah how that goes. How you feel right now going into this thing. If you had to play Texas Tech this week, BYU, be honest with
you. You don't want any part of that this week.
How would it be? How about last week? How about your freshman quarterback last week? There's no friggin' way you should be that. You should be thinking about that. You know what I mean?
Worry about that. When is it? November or late October? Yeah, worry about it then. Not now.
And going to Lubbock sounds scary as heck, man. And my gosh.
If I'm BYU, I like being under the radar right now. I like it. The momentum builds. Your quarterback gets more experience. If I'm BYU and I'm a BYU fan, I like being under the radar right now. I like the chip on the shoulder with these guys. I like it.
Hey, man. Oh, now that BYU.
How did Utah do with a bunch of hype this last couple of weeks?
It's tough. Yeah.
It doesn't work out all the time.
This is why you need to report the injuries. Because when you're hyping it up, you're making yourselves look bad. Not the media. Not us. We're not the ones who lied about it, right? No, it was never in question. How dare you? BYU, by the way, projected to the Liberty Bowl, taking on South Carolina. That's not a bad matchup. I don't hate that.
Utah and South Carolina?
No, BYU and South Carolina.
BYU is either way.
Listen to this.
An SEC team would be fun.
Listen to this.
Lenore Sellers is awesome.
So Utah,
I don't know if he's playing a bowl game.
Utah's projected to the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
There you go. That's our Pop-Tarts Bowl update for the day.
This I would not mind one bit. Utah versus Notre Dame in the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Sign me up.
Let's go.
Love it.
All right, we'll take Utah fans. Like, can we take that now? Can we just say, yep, put us there?
The way things went Saturday, Notre Dame in the Pop-Tarts Bowl sounds really good, doesn't it?
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We have more to go around the corner. When we return, Jake Shapiro from our sibling station across the mountains talking all things Colorado Buffs. He's not just a Colorado Buffaloes beat writer. He also went to the school. He can give us the vibe on. He's been like ear to the ground on Coach Prime and what's been going on there from the beginning. He's going to give us some insight as to this BYU Colorado rematch from last year's Alamo Bowl. Stay with us, 97.5 KSL Sports Zone.
Let's go! Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. The Cougars head to Boulder for a battle against Coach Prime and the Buffaloes. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're locked on to JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Not that you would know the answer to this question, JJ, but how does it work when all the Heisman odds Sunday and Monday flipped to John Mateer and people took those bets?
Oh.
Who now is officially, by the way, off the board. Like, all the betting houses took him off the board today. Do you get your money back on that? Maybe
Hey, folks, don't gamble. Don't do it.
Napolis, do you get your money back on that? Not that you know either. Hi, I'd just like to talk to the manager real quick. I put a bet on a John Mateer fellow. I never got to see him play. So can I get my Heisman bet money back, please?
Do you get a 24-hour money-back guarantee on any bets you place in Wendover?
You come on down. We'll give you 15% off at the buffet here at the Bellagio. All right? Come on down. All right. Thanks for joining the program, by the way. But yes, I just got that notification from one of my whatever the things are they follow in sports. One of these sports. Hey, by the way, Heisman odds off the board. John Mateer with the hand situation. I went, oh no, that's bad.
That is not good.
Let's talk some Colorado Buffs. Let's talk some BYU Cougars. Let's talk to Jake Shapiro, going all the way across the mountain here, across the Wasatch Range over to the Rockies. And Jake is, of course, he covers all sorts of things for Denver sports, but of course, CU is one of his ones that he's one of the experts on. He didn't just go there, but he's been telling us everything that's gone with Coach Prime. He's gotten it all right basically this entire time. Jake, welcome back to the program, man.
Hey, guys, and I'm headed up to Boulder right now.
Fun.
Beautiful this time of year. Leaves are changing. Must look beautiful. I'm wondering what people are feeling like year 3 now of Coach Prime, and I think everybody was wondering how this thing was going to go. It definitely is a different look for this team. I don't think it's as dire as people had thought a couple of years ago, but what's the 2025 version of Coach Prime's Buffs looking like this year?
Yeah, man, this is kind of interesting because we've had people say multiple times through the first 4 games that the vibes across this team feel similar to either Carl Durrell or the first year of Coach Prime late in the year when the team kind of laid down. Like, there are vibes at times where this team feels like it has a little bit of quit in it.
Wow. What's giving off those vibes? What are the reasons for that?
I think it's just a lot of, honestly, just their inability to do simple things on the football field. Like, they struggle a lot with their play calling. It's something that's been common with Pat Shurmur throughout the course of time. But the thing that happened with the quarterback situation in the first 4 weeks of Colorado is so strange, and it needs to kind of be looked at as kind of a microcosm of the whole team and the mismanagement of Deion Sanders through football at times, right? So they go to Big 12 Media Day, and they say, hey, we don't have just one quarterback. We have 2 quarterbacks we like a lot. So we're going to bring both quarterbacks to Big 12 Media Day. We haven't decided. And unlike most teams who have a quarterback battle who don't bring a quarterback at all, they brought both. Okay, week 1, they start Salter. Week 2, they say, okay, we're going to start Salter, but we didn't really like the way he played against Georgia Tech, so Juju Lewis is going to get a chance. Mid-game, week 2, all of a sudden, they've got Ryan Staub in there because they don't like the way Juju Lewis is playing. Okay, they like the way Staub played against Delaware. So the Big 12 opener, they're starting a quarterback they didn't bring either of the 2 up to Big 12 Media Day. It's Ryan Staub. They go out there, they get their butt kicked, and all of a sudden it's back to Salter to start week 4. And, yeah, he looks great against Wyoming, but, I mean, guys, it's Wyoming. Yeah. So, just looking at where they did, what happened with that quarterback situation, it created some lifelessness within the fan base throughout a couple of those losses, especially late in game and the mismanagement of the clock. And then, you don't even know who the quarterback is. So right now, at least for now, it's Salter, but it's been kind of a train wreck to start the season, honestly. And they're 2-2, and they're probably lucky to be 2-2 and haven't faced a serious loss.
So BYU comes in, and I was talking with some folks today, and I was saying, hey, BYU fans would do a disservice to themselves to try to draw a parallel of last year's Alamo Bowl, not just for themselves, but for this Colorado team, and to just think, wow, they beat the heck out of them there in San Antonio, probably go into Boulder and do the same thing. What is the biggest difference of this year's team? Obviously, throwing out the Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders part, that's a huge piece that's missing, but what's the big, difference between that 2024 team and the 2025 team that BYU is going to be facing in Boulder this weekend?
You just mentioned the first two things, obviously, which is the Heisman winner and the Pac-12 or the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year are no longer on campus in Boulder, which is huge. But I would say as a positive, this is legitimately funny to say at this point, given the first couple of years of Prime. But the Colorado Buffaloes have a good offensive line now. Jordan Seaton, who's their left tackle, who was a freshman last year, one of the top recruits in the country, is going to be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft probably next year. Not after this college season, but after the next college season. Their offensive line is pretty good. Conversely, in the con, the Buffs' defense is really, really bad. And it's not just that Travis Hunter, who was the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, is no longer there. They lost a couple guys in the secondary to the transfer portal and who graduated out. The offensive guys on the outside as well have not been as captivating as they were hoped to be. So this team is just not as dynamic as the one that BYU faced last year, but it does have a little bit more strength up front, which is not saying much given the fact that anyone could have run through the Buffs offensive line last year.
BYU pretty much humiliated Colorado in that bowl game. What is Deion saying about that game? Is there any feeling of, and beyond that, how about the fans, anybody in Boulder, how do they feel about how that game went, and how is it feeling now that BYU is coming to town? Is there this revenge factor in this game at all?
I think there's got to be a little bit of guys who played in that game and are back out on the field, right? It's a team that just beat you down 5 games ago or 4 games ago, for BYU's case. But I look at it and I say, from the Colorado perspective, they've been to 3 bowl games, guys, since 2007. 2016 Alamo Bowl, 2020 Alamo Bowl, and 2025 Alamo Bowl, or 2024 Alamo Bowl. They've gotten their butt kicked all 3 times. I don't even know at this point if Buff fans are that upset that it was BYU that did it to them, as much as it is they just haven't won a postseason game in forever. And on top of that, every time they've gone to the postseason, it hasn't been pretty. So I'm not sure that there's this seated rivalry towards or hatred towards BYU from the Colorado fan base, especially with the amount of turnover. I think more people are honestly focused on the Buffs and if they're actually even going to get to 6 wins. And it doesn't require them beating BYU on Saturday to get to 6 wins, but that would certainly make a statement for this program and where they might be headed this season.
Where are those 4 wins on the schedule now that they're already at 2? Are there 4 wins there?
My short answer is no. After you go to Houston and look the way you do in the Big 12 opener, and I think what's going to happen on Saturday, I think it's going to be really hard to find 4 wins. All of a sudden, the next 2 games after BYU look a lot tougher than maybe you thought of. We all knew Iowa State was going to be good, but TCU and Iowa State are next on Colorado's schedule. So there's a real chance that the Buffaloes are starting the season 2-5. 0-4 in Big 12, 0-4 in Big 12 play. So That is going to be a tough task to battle back from. And, there's a lot of fingers, I guess you could point at different things that have gone wrong for the Colorado Buffaloes this offseason and, going into the season, whether it's, Deion Sanders' bout with cancer and his, inability to be around the program, which is legitimate. He was fighting something that, we all wouldn't wish on our worst enemy. But they're putting together a pretty strong recruiting class right now. They picked up a recruit today that was, pledged to Boulder over Ohio State. So there is some positive things going on in the program, but the current team on the field, it just does not seem that well coached. And you guys are going to be shocked at how much talent there seems to be not on the field for Deion Sanders and the amount of recruits he so-called gets to Boulder.
Jake Shapiro, he covers all things in Denver that are Denver sports for denversports.com and 104.3 The Fan out there, our sibling station and our sibling website that also deals with everything there. And, of course, we won't get into the Avs today, Jake, but we'll do that at some point because we're going to have some, like, mammoth Avs trash talk across the mountains here, too, at some point during the season.
16 days away from the opener.
No problem.
In Colorado.
No problem. We're excited about it. This one shakes out this weekend in Colorado like what? According to what you saw with BYU against East Carolina, and again, they haven't really played anybody this year. I think that makes a difference. You've got to try to figure out who these teams are off of not so quality opponents.
Yeah, with BYU, we have no idea if their quarterback can actually play, right? We have no idea if the team can actually play. Not really. Colorado, we've seen them play Georgia Tech, who's turned into a really good team. Delaware's been feisty. Houston's been feisty. So with Colorado, I think we have a pretty good understanding of who they are as a football team. They haven't played a team of BYU's caliber yet, but we have an understanding. BYU, I don't think we really know how good they are. I'm basing it off of what they were last year, what they've continued to grow into this year, and I think BYU is probably going to win this game by 2 scores, if not 3. It will probably be a little close throughout the course of the game, but the Buffs' inability to close out games and especially during, like, halves and quarters, like they just have an inability to put together closing drives together, whether it be at the end of a half or an end of a game. And I think that stuff really comes back to bite you when you're an underdog, right? Like you need to get all of the things right. So the one thing that you guys might not know that's going on in Boulder right now is it's raining a ton this week. Like it just rained like an inch and a half today in Boulder. I haven't checked the forecast quite yet for Saturday because it's Tuesday. It's a little far out. But it has been wet and soggy in Boulder and Colorado all week, and it is a little bit cooler than it has been for weeks. So this game could have a little bit more of a damp feel to it. And the field conditions in Boulder have changed quite significantly. They replaced the grass with turf coming into the year. And because of the city of Boulder's ordinance on like reusable materials, they didn't use rubber pellets. They used wood chips for the
what?
grass.
I saw that.
So
I thought they were using like a tan colored rubber pellet. So that's wood. Those are wood chips then, huh?
Yeah. So it's really, really hard from what I've been told by people who've played on it. So what I'm trying to say is with the wetness and the new turf conditions, I'm really fascinated to see if it is indeed wet, how Folsom Field plays, because we have not seen that at all ever. And you'd have to go back to probably the 80s when they were back on turf to see conditions like this in Boulder.
Wow.
Interesting stuff. We're looking forward to it. Jake, have fun being back at home this weekend, man. You're a Boulder High product. You're a Buff, all those things, but you're working this weekend, all right? So keep it professional, would you?
Hey, I always let out a little still the first because we're the first high school in Colorado, Boulder High School. And then I always let out a little, shoulder to shoulder. But besides that, I will keep my hat right down the middle and make sure I'm covering the game objectively. If KSL needs anything, y'all know I gotcha.
There you go. Jake Shapiro, everybody.
Company
Appreciate
guy.
it. He is. He toes the line, man. Love it. Well, what's funny about it is normally he's a guy who's extremely close to what's going on there.
Yeah.
Covers the team. Went to Colorado. Well connected. And he's like, this is not going good.
No.
Things are to say that because I think BYU is a 7.5 point favorite. I think when I was looking at it today,
they'll win by more than that.
I don't know. The Big 12 is such a friggin' mess, man. I don't know what to think about these teams. If you say so, I'll believe you. But I just don't know. They were the same. No, 6.5 is today's line. So, yeah, same line as they had at East Carolina, by the way, if you're wondering.
And we saw how that went.
Yeah, I just think that their big question mark right now is offense. And when they have a question mark at quarterback, and then it's just like BYU's defense is going to smell blood in the water with that, man. And then their offense is going to have to figure some things out. But I think they could get L.J. Martin going and then make it a little bit easier for Bear Bachmeier, too. Just keep leaning on your big horse, man, running that football. Give him a fourth game in a row of 100 yards plus.
The ESPN matchup predictor has BYU with a 77.3% chance of winning this game on the road. That's pretty good.
See, this is why it's good for Bear. Like, this is a great game for him to get into conference play. And then you get West Virginia at home next week, right before the friggin' storm that he's going to have to go through for 5 weeks in a row or 5 games in a row.
The perfect schedule for a true freshman quarterback.
I was talking to Mitch Harper about it. He actually brought that up. He goes, coaches told me that after the game at East Carolina. They're like, how good has it worked out schedule-wise for us to, like, work Bear into this?
Yeah. And the confidence is growing.
Because if he had to play at Texas Tech week 1 of conference play,
jeez,
you would wonder what it would do to the psyche of a guy. You know, he's got to get reps. He just has to get reps. It's a great weekend to get reps. And then same thing, come back home to West Virginia the week after. Great weekend to get reps. All right, we will come back. We've got more around the corner when we return. Got ourselves a Would You Rather. Don't want to miss it. Stay here, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Listen, everybody. Real-life hypotheticals to get your brain churning. As JJ and Alex ask, would you rather?
Let me see here. We were just talking about food in West Virginia. Kyle Whittingham said, you got to get out of... He said something about you got to be hungry. The West Virginia state food, you would never guess what it is, by the way. Any guesses, though?
Potatoes?
I mean, it's as good of a guess as anything. They have like a state fish and it's whatever. But their state food is the pepperoni roll.
What is that?
An Italian-American snack. I had to say it like that. An Italian-American snack that originated in the coal mines as a convenience food. Simple bread dough roll filled with sticks or slices of pepperoni and is a popular iconic symbol of the state's history and culture.
Okay.
Like the one state that shows us up on weird state foods. So there you go. So West Virginia, and I don't even know what Colorado. So we're thinking about if you're going out there, hey, fans of all the teams that are making the trips, if you're going out there, Colorado's, the Rocky Mountain oysters, that's not their real dish. Okay. The Denver omelet, of course, but they have a thing called the Pueblo slopper. Listen. The Pueblo slopper.
I'm asking no questions about that.
It's an omelet with like a green chili sauce on it. Now that I can get down with.
That's my kind of sloppy.
Could you get me a Pueblo slopper?
I thought it was a steak they poured water on.
Kids, don't look it up on Urban Dictionary. It's probably something else. All right? Don't let mom catch you on the internet. All right? JJ, I've got in front of me the NFL's top QBR for the top QBR quarterback rankings in the season so far. You ready for this?
Yeah.
So this is going backwards down to number 1 here. Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Sorry, I forgot number 1, Daniel Jones.
Wow.
Can you believe that list? Can you believe that list? Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff, Josh Allen is 3, Lamar Jackson is 2, and then Daniel freaking Jones by like kind of a landslide, by the way.
Indiana Jones is the hottest quarterback in the NFL.
This is our culture.
Yeah, it is.
This is our team. We
Bleed blue.
But what are they going to do for Cam? What are they going to do for Cam Ward? Here's what he's going to do to him. Okay.
Beat the Titans.
Titans?
Hey, Cam Ward. Woo! This is our team. Go, cool.
It's like someone gave him a wedgie during that portion of the song. So my would you rather today goes like this, JJ. Would you rather start a franchise like they just granted you a franchise here in Salt Lake City? Congrats. Okay? No baseball team still, but an NFL team shows up, all right? So we build a football stadium out here in the Power District anyway.
Okay. Or down in Draper.
Would you rather build it around Daniel Jones, around Baker Mayfield, around Mac Jones, around Sam Darnold, or around C.J. Stroud?
Dang. I still believe in C.J. Stroud.
Oh, you do, huh?
Well, he's going to become someone else's reclamation project, and he's going to blow up in the right place.
28th out of 32 on the QBR currently, by the way, for the former Rookie of the Year. Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't understand it. But the dude is super talented. I've seen him in person. I've seen him do it in the NFL level. It's in there. If not him, I'd probably go Baker because he's just a dude.
I think so, too.
I couldn't stand Baker when he was at Oklahoma. I don't know why. Now I love the guy. I respect the heck out of him because He lost everything.
He's
and he
like a
built
team
himself
dude.
back up.
Yeah.
He was picked up on waivers by the Rams. And
He's a team guy.
Yeah, he's a
His
dude.
His teammates freaking love him.
They should.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
I'm all about it. I'm same way. Him or Kyler Murray, for sure. No, I'm just kidding. Kyler Murray stinks. Hey, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We have more to go around the corner. When we return, let's have a little discussion here. I think Steve Bartle, our Ute Insider for KSLSports.com, is going to join us. Talk all things Utes. Get you ready for Utah going out to West Virginia. Stay here at 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.